Hello, this time we would like to talk about an important aspect for educational institutions. And we think that one of the most important things for nowadays for them are to gauge the research impact and how they can compare that research impact with their peers. This presentation will show two implementations using research metrics to define strategies focused on the improvement of performance and, in consequence, better positioning of the institution. The first implementation is the gauge of the prestige of the faculty by discipline. The methodology considers metrics such as publication, originality, impact by discipline, and citation of all researchers in Latin American institutions within a 5-year window period. Using the same performance indicator, the second implementation consists of the use of machine learning techniques to detect academic rising stars and predicted performance. All data is available through Elsevier Scopus. Both methodologies are high-value tools for making decisions and defining institutional strategies to increase their impact, prestige, and as well to ensure a long-term contribution to the disciplines and the institution. So our first methodology, that when we are measuring the prestige of the faculty, the data considered for this methodology is about 44 Latin America countries with 51 disciplines. So we retrieve information from researchers in institutions for these countries and divided by these disciplines. And the metrics that we considered was publications in a 5-year period. The type of publications considered here are journal, book chapter, and reviews. For this type of publications, we obtained a new metric that we are proposing here. So the metric is called originality, and the idea with this metric is to define for a paper or for a contribution who is the leadership of the research in this publication. And most of the authors in literature have a coincidence about the corresponding author, and what we also are considered the first and the single author, because we think that these three types of authors, or these three types of position of the author in the paper, are the reference or the main leaders for the research. Also, we are considered the 5-weighted citation impact, that is a ratio that considers how a publication gets citations, but compare with other publications in the same subject or in the same discipline. And also, as well known, the metric of citations is how the author is referred by other authors by the research. So once we get these metrics, we compute a new metric to rank all these researchers and to get the distribution of all these researchers in Latin America. So what we are looking in this slide is in this part, we have all researchers in Latin America and how they are distributed according to all these metrics that we already talked about. And in the left side, we have the same distribution, but for the researchers within an institution. So the idea with this methodology is to locate our researchers' position for the institution and how they can be compared with their position in Latin America. So in this first example, we consider this author that it's an outstanding researcher for the institution. And if we see his or her performance in the institution, we can then project that performance, but compare with their peers in Latin America for the same discipline. So this is done by discipline. So in this case, this is an outstanding for the institution and is one of the top scientists in Latin America. Here are part of the metrics that this profile can have by year. And also here, the idea is to define an assessment for this researcher. So now that he already reached a high performance and is one of the top researchers in Latin America, what is next for this researcher? Well, maybe we can focus goals regarding with funds or with patents, and how he can become a mentor for other researchers in the institution in order to help them to reach a high impact of the research also. Talking about citations, originality, international collaboration, networking, working with the students. So the possibilities now to define an appropriate assessment for researchers, it's possible because it's not also its performance within the institution, but how we can compare with their peers in the countries that are living the same context of research that the institution. So instead of compare this research with maybe a worldwide researcher that can be in some point too ambitious to reach a new metric, we compare this research with the peers in Latin America. But what happens if we have a different researcher? Let's say a researcher that is not performing as well as this outstanding, but it's most of on the average of all researchers in the institution. If we project its performance or their performance to Latin America, we see that this researcher is not even in the main distribution of Latin America. So the idea with an assessment for this researcher is going to be to how we can help them as an institution to increase the quantity and the quality of the publications, also increase the networking, student collaboration, and some other strategies that will help these researchers to reach more according goals that are more similar with the peers in Latin America. And also in a consequence, when we reach and we have a better strategy for these researchers, we make a better position of the institution, first with their peers and also in later with a further goal with the world. Okay, so this methodology is for the prestige of the faculty. The next methodology is for academic rising stars. So here, since we have already data for these researchers and we have the performance, we think that for institutions, it's really important to detect academic rising stars, not only the ones that are already in the institution, but also those that maybe we want to collaborate with or integrate them in our groups of research or in some other type of different collaboration. And with all these techniques that have been advanced faster with the machine learning and data science, possibilities to analyze and make prediction for different future scientific success of a researcher. So how the methodology works? Well, first, we need to do a clustering analysis for all these researchers in Latin America according to following information. First, we need to take into account the disciplines, the main disciplines for the researchers, with the same type of articles that are journal, book chapter, conference paper, and review. And for all these publications, we get the H index. And this H index can be it's a H5 index with citations, with the impact in the subject they are participating in. But also we need to understand what was the first year of publication. So with that information, we can get the experience of the researcher and locate this research in their stage of their career. It can be either early career researcher or already established researcher, or we can find also profiles for senior career researchers. Also, other analysis made with this methodology is a correlation of the metrics, and how this correlation will help us to better make a segmentation of the researchers. And once we have this segmentation, we can try predictive models. In this case, we use a logistic regression to classify a researcher with an experience and how it can be moved according to the years and according to the publications in the near future. So this is our second methodology, also with the same information for the first one, and we think this information is a high value for taking decisions for institutions, making a strategy more focused on increase the prestige of the faculty, the increase the prestige of the institution, and also provide new information, new collaboration systems, and be more realistic about which are the peers we want to compare with. So I think this information may be a high value for you, and we are open to all your comments, all your questions, and thank you for the time given to this presentation.